It's showtime.
Hey, welcome to Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? This is the only Survivor podcast. My name is Jake Scheidel. Each week I ask my best friend, Thomas Powell, if he did indeed watch a certain reality show. Hey, Thomas, how you doing today?
Jake, I'm doing well. It's a Tocantins Tuesday.
Yes. In honor of Marianne, did you know this? Marianne, before coming out on the island, had seen every season of Survivor except the last 6 episodes of Tocantins. So it only seemed fair that in honor of Marianne's win, holy shit, we deprive our listeners of content the way she deprived Survivor Tocantins of her viewership. Does that not make sense?
No, but I'll pretend it does.
Thank you. That's all I'm looking for, is anyone to pretend I make sense.
Start making
Thomas?
sense.
It's Toucan Tuesdays. It's Toucan Tuesdays.
It's Toucan Tuesdays. I am drinking. I know that we've talked about this. I think on the pod I've talked about this before. But I'm drinking the monster that's got the Pervert Toucan on it. It's Pervert Toucan Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. He's stealing the lady's bikini top. There should be like a little wanted sign of him.
That would be really
that's
cool.
Not okay.
Oh my God.
And he should be in prison.
Here's what I'm going to do for you, Thomas. Survivor Wild West 2, there's going to be a cameo by the Pervert Toucan. There's going to be a wanted poster for him, and people are like, that doesn't make sense in the lore of Survivor. And I'm like, well, it does if you listen to the right podcast.
Just Jeff, like, come on in. We have a special guest today. It's the Pervert Toucan from the Monster Energy can.
The Pervert Toucan from the Monster Energy can is my favorite pervert from my Monster Energy can.
They've got a big, like, paper sign of the Monster Paradise, and he, like, bursts through it, and he's holding a lady's bikini top. What
is Monster Paradise? Is that the monster with the toucan?
Yeah, it's the lime green can.
That's cool. I have a question for you, Thomas. It's 8:14 p.m. there in the lovely land of Michigan. Why are you drinking a Monster Paradise right now?
I've been kind of nursing this one. I got it when I started drinking it when I got home.
Is it a baby?
Yes, it's a baby.
That's so cute. Finally.
I've been drinking this baby monster.
The baby monster is hungry.
I've just been kind of spreading it out. I've been periodically taking sips. So I've been drinking this for like 2.5 hours.
You've been drinking a Monster Energy drink, of course, because we did watch Survivor this week, and Survivor's a monster now. So, Thomas, I have to ask you, did you watch the finale of Survivor 42 last night?
Jake, I did.
What did you think of this week's episode title, which was It Comes Down to This?
You know, I think a previous version of me maybe would have said that this was lazy, but I watched this one in Cali, fucking right after getting out of the hot tub in the morning, just feeling chill, and I was like, you know what, good enough.
Thomas, you didn't watch the finale of Survivor 42. Hollywood Thom Powell did. What did Hollywood Thom Powell think of that title?
He's gone now.
God damn.
I discarded. I can't channel him if I'm not around the natural crystals in California.
You didn't take any home with you? They're free.
No, they kill you.
Oh, they kill you.
Yeah, if you take the vibes, they kill you.
Oh my God. That explains why there's such a concentration of chillness in California. They got all the crystals. Okay, so this was a pretty good finale, I'd say. Jeff starts the episode by talking to us as if he is, once again, Dora the Explorer.
We love these. We love these segments. We love the Blues Clues with Jeff segments.
I was trying to remember what Dora the Explorer wore.
She wears like a pink shirt, right?
It's a pink shirt and orange shorts. I was like, does she wear what Jeff Probst wears?
I was trying to think of her, and then I realized I was thinking of DW.
Different people. In fact, one of them is an anteater.
Not the same.
Thomas,
you
did
would
you
think
know?
Similar, but no, not the same.
Did you know that anteaters might make good pets, maybe?
I've heard that they're so big, some call them large.
Mm-hmm. Great, even. That was, do you think that joke column I did in the school newspaper for April Fool's Day in 2008 was the first instance of wildlife shots.
Yeah, I think that really was the inspiration for this whole segment.
Yeah. So
That whole segment, I should say. We're not doing it right now.
We're not doing it right now. I mean, it's way too early. First, we have to talk about what happens at camp, and they go to a new bad beach. I like this little twist. It's very small in the grand scheme of the season, I think, but it's fun to be like, all right, lightning round, Survivor.
You got to pick up and move.
Yeah. Jonathan and Lindsay have a spat because he says Omer was the plan the whole time. Then Jonathan keeps yelling at Lindsay, "You voted for me, Lindsay," because she's upset that she didn't know the plan. This was obnoxious. I think early instance of this segment for annoying, not annoying. I think Jonathan wins annoying for this little scene here.
He's being a little annoying. I get it. I get not wanting to cooperate because she tried to vote you out, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't need to see Jonathan being a dick about stuff.
Yeah. What happened to cool Golden Boy Jonathan? What happens to the Golden Boys? They used to, be great. Ozzy. The one that came after Malcolm, that's the one. But then they turned bad. Hot Joe. Jonathan. What happened, guys? Get together, That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Speaking of chill vibes, have you been watching Barry?
No, honestly, Thomas, you're gonna be mad. I watched the first episode a couple times, and I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I'm a little mad about that.
I know. I gotta give it another shot because I know it's apparently one of the best shows on TV.
Man, there's a guy in the most recent episode of it who owns a beignet shop, and he has the kind of chill vibes that Jonathan needs to win. With the chill vibes comes wisdom.
With great chill vibes comes great wisdom. I have not been watching that, Thomas. I'm sorry to say. My viewing schedule is actually currently filled up by a little sitcom called Young Rock. Have you watched it yet?
No, I'm not going to watch Young Rock. I'm going to put that out there right now. I don't know that there will be a situation. I'm not avoiding it, but I don't think that I will. I would have to choose to watch it, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Would you say there would not be a situational comedy in which you would watch Young Rock?
Well, maybe if I had 2 dates that I had planned on accident at the same time, and both of them, let's say one of them was watching Young Rock. I was like, do you want to peacock and chill? We're going to watch Young Rock.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a really cool
Peacock, Young Rock, and chill. And then, the other one, I don't know. We're going to a restaurant, and I have to go back and forth.
A wrestling strong.
What if I had two TV rooms, 2 rooms with TVs in my house, and I somehow managed to lure both the dates in without them seeing each other and was just moving rooms? I was like, I have to go to the bathroom.
Here's the funny thing about that little fantasy you just took us on, Thomas. There was a recent episode of Young Rock in which all 4 of Young Rock's girlfriends found out about each other. So, more similar than you realize.
Were they all watching different TVs in different rooms in his house?
No,
is that how they found out?
This dumbass 8-year-old gave them each a t-shirt from this wrestling event his mom put on, and then they all were in class together and were like, "Oh, where'd you get this shirt?" 8-year-old Rock is a fucking idiot. Hot take, but Young Rock is no Young Sheldon. In terms of character intelligence.
Okay, so they're 8-year-old elementary school girlfriends. Okay.
Yeah. Still, that's infidelity. And
yeah,
that's not okay.
He should be put to death for that.
Well, he ran for president instead, so maybe Young Rock is more realistic than we realize.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the nature of society.
Mm-hmm. Romeo tells them that he has an idol. He made a fake idol that looks really bad. What did you think of this fake idol Romeo made?
They've been kind of making the idols look shittier of late, I think specifically so that it's easier for players to do this. Yes. And I'm all for it. I thought that it looked enough like an idol. All you have to do with a fake one is make it look just enough like one that people question whether it's real or not. If it looks like it could plausibly be an idol, people got to worry about it then.
The thing is, no idol up to this point has ever been an anklet, but I guess this is a new era, so anything goes.
Yeah, that's an easy sell for this season. It's like they're doing it a little different. It's a different season. They're throwing the old, that's old hat, the non-anklet idols. They're throwing that out the window.
What if hidden immunity idols were hats?
I would love it. It'd be kind of hard to hide them, wouldn't it?
It would be. But you could also make it look quite natural when you do. And we're like, oh yeah, I forgot I packed this hat.
I packed this golden hat. You just wear a lot of hats with beads all over them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the normal kind of hat that I like to wear.
Why does this hat have a fleur-de-lis on the front?
It's like a bedazzled Jamiroquai hat.
Honestly, why doesn't Jeff ever contact us to produce the show?
What if Jeff dressed like Jamiroquai? I have a lot of ideas about what we could do with Survivor, and a lot of them involve Jamiroquai. What if they had a challenge in the Upside Down room from the Perfect Insanity video?
Do it, Jeff. It's a new era. Anything goes.
What if we cut out the middleman and we just have Jamiroquai host?
That would be good, They're really pushing for diversity. Get that old white man out of there. Get Jamiroquai in.
Yeah, get another, probably the same age white man.
Is Jamiroquai white?
Jamiroquai is very white.
I don't think I've ever actually seen Jamiroquai. Jamiroquai's a band? No,
Yeah,
Jamiroquai's a guy.
You've never seen the hat before? Oh, you got to look up that hat.
I literally thought this guy in the video was Jamiroquai this whole time. What a
That's
day.
fine. We've all learned a lot today.
The members' names. The first guy, J.K. Get the fuck out of here. That's fucking alphabet.
It's not a name.
Jason Louis Cheatham.
How are you liking that hat that he's wearing?
It's good. It's a really good hat, and I wish they would bring it on Survivor.
I'm really delighted that I can show this to someone for the first time, because I just assumed that Jamiroquai's hat was like a foundational piece of our natural identities.
I always knew who Jamiroquai was. I 100% recognized this video as soon as you mentioned it. I just didn't know it was more than one guy.
It's true.
Jamiroquai.
Well, it's hard to notice any of the other guys because of the big hat that one guy's wearing.
Holy shit, Thomas. Can you just real quick Google Jamiroquai and look at the third image?
Oh, man.
That's literally what we're talking about. Everybody listening, Google Jamiroquai and look at the third image. This
is from their IMDb page.
Oh, mine is from Simple Wikipedia.
Okay.
Maybe
So we're not looking at the same one. I'm looking at one where he's got like a rainbow Rasta knit sweater or whatever.
Oh, no, I'm looking at one where he is wearing a potentially problematic purple headdress.
No, I saw a few of those.
Purple
Apparently that's the
headdress.
other kind of hat that he likes to wear. You don't know, maybe he's I mean, he probably isn't, but let's say for the sake of argument, maybe he's part indigenous. Maybe he has some indigenous heritage.
Up until about 30 seconds ago, I thought this man was, one, named Jamiroquai, and two, a black man. So you could tell me anything and I'd believe you.
Yeah. He is British, though, so that seems unlikely. This just seems like an unfortunate choice.
J.K. was born in 1969, has been married to the same person since 1992.
Wow, even after J.K. blew up.
Excuse me, I misread this Wikipedia article. He has been active since 1992 in sex because he got married in that year.
Yeah. Not before. He's like Homer.
What's the... Jeff Probst was born... What year, Thomas? If J.K. was born in 1969, how old do you think Jeff Probst is? You said he's about the same age.
I'm gonna say because I want it to be true that they were born the same year.
In fact, Jeff Probst was born 8 years earlier in 1961.
Okay, so we are getting some new blood in there then.
Yeah. Okay, so Lindsay is the boy's target. Marianne tells her that she wants her there with her in the final three. And then Mike implies that he's going to play his idol for Lindsay. Mike, doing too much, Doing too much. Too late.
Yeah, he could have just, kept his cards a little closer to his chest,
Yeah.
but...
They get tree mail and it has a riddle on it. Lindsay is the first one to figure it out. Is looking all over the idol for the advantage. Do you remember what the riddle was. Something about a sleeping giant.
Yeah, wasn't it like look for its sleeping giant show feet or whatever? It's like,
Sleeping
look for them
giant show
toes.
feet on Maine.
Let me suck on them toes.
It said, "Go suck on those toes, the giant toes," and Lindsay did exactly that. She finds it. Marianne and apparently also Romeo were pretending to not be able to figure out the puzzle so that the other two couldn't join them in the hunt. So that's pretty funny. That's some good strategizing from some good strategery, as our favorite painter said one time. What did you think of this riddle? What did you think of this portion of the game? It's like a big deal, you know?
It was, I thought it was good. They show like 10 seconds of them solving the riddle, and then it's just edited to show them run over the whole island. So I don't, it's like I have a hard time believing that this is how it actually played out.
Yeah, Lindsay said it took around 40 minutes to solve the riddle and find the clue. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem like an entirely necessary part of the game, but whatever, new blood or whatever that Jeff likes to say. What did you think of when they highlighted the giant toes in a yellow outline
Loved
on the
it.
screen, so we could see
I
those
did love
big
that.
toes? So at the Final Five reward and immunity challenge, the winners get pasta, garlic bread, meat sauce, cake, salad, and red wine. Pretty tasty meal, if I do say so myself. I love all those foods. Rank 'em,
Yeah,
Thomas.
it looked good.
Rank 'em: pasta, garlic bread, meat sauce, cake, salad, red wine.
Uh-huh.
Rank them. Best to worst.
They're all good.
Oh, nice.
I like them all.
Way to win.
Give them the Trump fast food. I like it all.
Lindsay plays her advantage, which means she has to untie 5 fewer knots. Good for Lindsay. They have to collect puzzle pieces through different stages on a big raised obstacle. I thought this was a really cool challenge. I really like
This is great. I like all the different, the varying challenges of the different little rope bridges to get back. I thought it was neat.
And how they could use, they could choose which ones they wanted to take when. I love to see it. Lindsay unfortunately drops one of her planks, so she loses the lead she had with her advantage. Were you bummed out here? Because
I was a
you
little
love
bummed.
Lindsay so much.
I picked her to win.
Jonathan and Lindsay are the first of their puzzle. Mike wins outright, though. Lindsay was 1 piece away. Big bummer for Lindsay.
That was a bummer. It was also really funny that Jonathan was the first person to complete his and just stopped trying on the puzzle at one point to see whether Mike or Lindsay was going to win.
Yeah, sure. Like, why not, Why not? Mike wins and brings Jonathan on the reward. Because, big boy's got to eat.
Yeah, he was going to town on that pasta.
Yeah. He loves it all, honestly.
It's all great stuff.
They go out of their way to mention that they love the spaghetti. What did you think of this beautiful poetry from Jonathan? He said, "There are good ships and bad ships, but there's no ship like friendship."
Yeah, simple wisdom.
It sounds like a Johnny Bananas quote, if Johnny Bananas was
Yeah,
a
it does
good
a little
guy.
bit.
Mike doesn't know how he wants to play the idol yet, but they know they want to take out Lindsay. And then Mike promises Jonathan that he's going to play his idol for him if Lindsay ends up playing an idol. That's 2 people now, Mike. There's only 4 people.
Too many promises. You can't be promising everybody's getting your idol.
Too many
It's not good
promises,
strat.
not enough idols.
Especially when you're in a position of strength. It's like, you can afford to play a restrained game right now.
He completely squandered that opportunity. Mike and Lindsay realize that Mike promised both of them his idol, so Lindsay tries to guilt Mike into keeping her. Marianne tries to convince Mike to save Lindsay, reminding him that Jonathan is shitty to the women. And then Marianne considers playing her idol for Lindsay to be seen as a contender. Now this is very interesting to me. What did you think?
I thought that it was an interesting idea for her to do it because it would be something you could put on your resume. But I also think that all Lindsay would have to say if they both made it to Final Tribal is you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It was a bad idea for you to do that.
Yeah. In her exit interview with our rival, you know his name, I don't need to say it, Marianne was like, yeah, I thought about playing it for Lindsay, but then I realized she could use that to show off what a great social game she had, in that I played an idol for her, and I didn't want her to take that big move from me. I thought that was expertly played.
Yep, I thought that was it was smart of her not to do that as much as I would have liked her to.
I loved that she also said during the tribal council, she said, I want to play this game for me. I may have to go back on my word. Like, basically warning Lindsay, like, look, I'm sorry, but this is what I have to do. Then, Jeff asks about being a good player, but balancing, making sure you're not the target. And then the camera holds on Marianne for a very long time. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. How did you feel about it? Did you feel good?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
I felt pretty good. Mike says trust changes quickly. Dre notices Marianne is trying to win over Omer's jury vote. Romeo calls this portion of the game the fighter. Christian Bale, right? Is that right?
Yeah, he was in that.
Nice.
I think Mark Wahlberg was in it.
And what's her name from The Office? Amy Adams.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, Katie the Purse Girl is in it.
So they vote. Mike plays his idol for Mary Ann. What a beautiful moment for me, the person who picked Mary Ann to win. Romeo announces he will not be playing his fake idol. Were you bummed?
What was the point of this?
I don't really know. Like, Romeo was just, like, there the whole time, you know?
This is like Romeo's whole game. It was just like, yeah, okay, he's there.
Which he tried to spin as intentional. And I guess I believe him, because why would you lie about that even in exit press? But
I mean, you get that third place money. Like, I think
Yeah.
it was intentional in the sense that he got to the final three.
I mean,
but
that's one way to play. Jonathan gets one vote, but the rest of them go to Lindsay. And we had to say goodbye to your winner pick. Were you crushed that Lindsay was the first one out?
I was pretty sad.
Because you picked her to win?
Well, after she got the advantage, I was like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
feel good about that pick. Boy, did that not last.
Yeah, it's almost as if advantages aren't actually that helpful in the game of Survivor.
I mean, they are, like, that exact advantage ended up swinging the game last season.
What I don't even remember it being in last season.
Erica got it last season.
She did?
Yeah, and won in order to get to Final Tribal, yes.
Well, it's good, actually. It's a good twist, and I like it. Because it meant Erica won, and I like that. We get then to the final immunity challenge, and it is Samotion. I mean, it's as if they made this whole season just for us. From Omer saying...
Marianne's a big dork like us, and she knows the name of it.
Yes. From Omer saying Survivor confident to this, it's just like, great. The only thing that could make it better is more diverse wildlife shots. I know there are more than like 3 birds and 2 fish in Fiji.
Yeah, do it. Just please have it somewhere that isn't Fiji.
That's all we ask. The Wild West, maybe. Wildlife shots in that. Did you know that, Thomas? Did you know I researched a bunch of wildlife for Wild West Survivor?
What if they did
No.
Survivor Wild Wild West, and it was hosted by Will Smith and Kevin Kline?
Yeah, that's a good idea, too. Unfortunately, they didn't. I couldn't get the rights to that, so I just had
Will
to
Smith
use
does a
Jeff
live
Probst.
performance of Wild. He does the exact VMA's performance of Wild Wild West at the start of every single show.
Well, I mean, sure, but there was already like a reference to the Wild Wild West in Survivor Wild West, which you know about, obviously, because of how you did read it, and so just feel like you could have accepted that. But no, I'll write another one, hosted by Will Smith and Kevin Kline, because it's 1999 still. We're all excited about Survivor. Come
Yeah,
into
it doesn't even
theaters,
exist yet. I can't
Survivor.
wait, but I sure hope that it's hosted by Will Smith and Kevin Kline.
Oh, Will Smith and Kevin Kline did so good on Wild Wild West. What if they do a show called Survivor and we never find out Jeff
Yeah,
Probst
you guys
is?
ever think about that?
What about if that happened? Yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
maybe this guy named Jeff Probst. No,
No.
I don't want that guy.
That guy from that commercial I saw one time? No thanks. I also found out, speaking of The Office, Jenna Fisher's wedding was officiated by Jeff Probst.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Her marriage to Jim?
Her marriage to Jim was officiated by Jeff Probst. I can't believe we didn't notice that on the episode, but here it is. Mike says that they're all depleted. He says, big game, big players. I liked that. Big game, big players, can't lose. From Wild Nights.
Yeah, from Wild Wild West.
From Wild Wild Country.
Yeah, exactly. From the Talking Head song, Wild Wild Life.
Well, when you really think about it, high school football in Texas is kind of a cult. So that joke kind of worked, actually.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of that.
Thank you. I'm a mystery solver. I'm a detective of jokes. Marianne talks about her family and says that she sits in the sorrow and sadness and then turns it into passion and drive. Pretty good line from the winner, huh? How could you not root for Marianne after this scene?
What if you think she's annoying, though? What about that, then?
Well,
What if, like, Tony, you think that she's played a very good game, but also you personally don't want her to win?
well, sounds like racism, and Tony was actually annoying, and that's okay for me to say because you can't be racist against Italians. So
Okay. It's racist against cops to say that.
Yeah. Did you notice that when Jonathan yelled, "Come on," before the challenge, they added a lion roar behind him?
I did notice that,
That was
and I
very
loved it.
cool. Mike falls out of the challenge. Well, there's only one ball in this emotion, and Jeff seems incredibly disappointed in him.
Yeah, this is rough.
This was so funny.
It just slipped out of his hand, too. It wasn't, it was just a weird, like, his concentration broke or something. It was a weird brain fart.
Yeah, it was a real bummer, but that's the game. It's a new era. Anything can happen. Marianne was the second out, and then it comes down to Romeo and Jonathan. Who would have thunk it? And Romeo wins. This was really exciting for me. Because I knew he would take Marianne,
Yep.
How'd you feel? Romeo finally
I think that
winning
he
in
should
the
have
end.
put Marianne to fire making. I don't know why he didn't do that.
100%
He had
he
no
should
chance
have.
of beating any of them, but you absolutely have a better chance of finishing second against Jonathan.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. But remember, Romeo has a pretty bad record at tribal council.
He sure does.
This tribal included, back at camp, Romeo is proud of himself. Mike says, "I'm in deep water, but I'm not drowning." Can't wait for Mike to come back. He's so good.
We love Mike.
We like Mike.
Many of us still think that maybe if under different circumstances he would have been allowed to make a case to win this season.
What?
Well, I said that in a confusing way. We'll talk about it when we get to Final Tribal. I had some issues with the jury.
Mike tells Romeo he's expecting to make fire, but tells Romeo to consider who he'll have to go against Tribal Founding Council. And coaches Jonathan on fire making, and Mike tells Jonathan to take any chance to not have to make fire if he can. Sure stuff. Sure stuff. What more can you say? They then go to Tribal Council, and Jeff says this little nugget of wisdom. He says, "So much of life is showing up." What did you think of that line?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Romeo showed up.
He sure did.
Romeo has been present on the island the whole time.
He got $10,000 for attending Survivor. Marianne says anything can happen at Tribal. Mike says he's definitely going to fire. Romeo says he feels like Miss Universe and takes Marianne with him. Finally, the nerds of Survivor win. This has never happened in the history of the show. Were you excited for the underdogs, the fellow skinny guys of the show?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have some representation on there.
Yeah. You were pretty well represented in Final Tribal. Or I guess this isn't Final Tribal, but you got the skinny guy with Romeo, the skinny guy lines, and then you got the big boy complaints with Jonathor. I don't really remember what Jonathor's big boy complaints were, but I know you had similar ones.
He's just hungry.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, that is fair. I'm hungry constantly. I'm hungry right now, and I had 7 Cheez-Its before we started recording.
Well, you're really stuffing your face with those Cheez-Its.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was afraid of my mouth getting dry, and that's why I didn't have 8.
Eating a baker's half dozen of Cheez-Its.
Romeo takes Marianne, and then Mike wins the fire-making challenge. This was good. They both made quality fires. I can't complain about that. No big boy complaints over here about this fire-making challenge.
I appreciated Mike's strategy of just putting as much shit on it as he possibly could. Whereas, like, Jonathan tried to get a little too cute with it. I get, it's like you want to make a structurally sound one, but it's better than like a structurally sound flame that goes straight up. A giant one that you don't have to worry about controlling.
Yeah. Definitely the right strategy there. It worked out for him. They then go back to camp, and the final 3 watch the sunset, and then there's a cool edit of the jury where they all explain what they're looking for out of each of the finalists. Then they have their what's it called? Their brunch, their final day brunch. And Mike is very excited that there are Danishes. He yells back to the other 2, goes, "Danishes, I told you." Which is the only note I took on the feast.
That's all you need to know. What else do you need?
Yes. All right. It's time for the final wildlife shot of Survivor 42.
Alive.
We had a bandit sea crate. We had Roland the Bat. Thomas, we have to say goodbye to Roland the Bat for this season. What does he have to say to us?
Farewell. Farewell, my sweet boy. Until we meet again.
We got a crab, we got iguana, we got snake, we got birds, we got spider, and we got the Fiji wood swallow, which I believe we have talked about before. But Jeff, we've
complained. Talked about every fucking animal that has ever lived on that island.
Do you know how long the list of birds in Fiji is on Wikipedia? Do you know how many of those hyperlinks have turned purple? Significantly fewer. That's how many. I'm just saying, there's like this one that has a really big, funny-looking beak. I would love to talk about it sometime, Jeff, but it hasn't come up. There's one called a booby. We've never talked about it because it hasn't shown up in
think of all the riffs
B-roll
that we could be doing.
But we can't because they didn't put the booby on screen.
I just want to see the boobies.
Show me the boobies, Jeff. No, instead we have to talk about the Fiji wood swallow, which is very funny after hearing the word booby a lot. They're small black and white birds that can be found on almost all of the islands on Fiji, which explains why we see them so much. Wikipedia describes them as a chunky bird measuring 7 inches long. They live mostly in lowland forests. They eat various bugs. They'll roost in the same tree for years at a time. They are very social birds with big groups that roost together. They are often prey for a couple different types of hawks, neither of which we have ever covered here on Wildlife Shots. Once again, Jeff, shoot just like higher in the trees or something. I don't fucking know. I don't have this job.
I want to see the bird with like the big beak that you're talking about. That sounds great. I would love to talk about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jeff is bogarting the birds. They're cool to other native birds, but they will become aggressive toward introduced species. And the final fact for this horny wildlife shot, they're poly. So,
oh hell yeah!
Is it a negative stereotype that all poly people are horny? Is that not how it works?
I think it's true. I think in this case it's just true.
Here's my follow-up question. Is it...
I will also add every single stereotype about poly people is true. If you want to yell at us, please go at Jake Scheidel
Nope.
on Twitter.
Actually,
That's my personal account. You can yell at me there.
You do not need to do that. In fact, you don't need to do it at all because this is just a joke, and we are doing a comedy show, and it's the Only Survivor podcast. And anything we say is in jest, even when we like people.
Yeah. Endorsements, retweets aren't endorsements.
Yeah, and jokes are also
everything
not
that we say is
endorsements.
not an endorsement of the thing that we said.
Yeah. It's joke and satire, and we're doing satire, so you can't be mad. Who is this? George W. Bush listening to our show?
I know everything about satire
Richard
because I'm the
Nixon?
guy that's wearing the shirt that's always pointing at stuff.
Yeah.
I know everything about satire.
I have a shirt, and it's got like two cartoon thumbs pointed back at me, and it says, "Who's got two thumbs and is wearing a shirt?" Speaking of shirts,
you've got like an Icy Stupid People shirt on.
yeah, and then it's a mirror. It's like a black T-shirt, but the letters are made out of very cheap metallic material that is mirrored. So it's the person reading.
Yeah,
is the
they're
stupid
the
person.
idiot.
Yeah, they're dumb. Not me. I'm the one wearing the T-shirt, so it's impossible.
I'm smart. I just see all these dumb people.
When I look in the mirror, I don't read "I'm with stupid." I read
Also, I'm a vampire, so I don't appear in mirrors.
That's the other thing. I am a vampire, and it's been a long time coming, but it's finally come out, and it's very exciting news. Speaking of T-shirts that we wear as human beings, Hai is wearing a T-shirt that says "feminist." What did you think of that?
Yeah, okay.
What if
I forgot that he was wearing this. Great. Glad Hai's an ally or whatever, but
not just an ally, but a feminist?
That's true. But I was more interested in Hai dressing like Arthur in one of the tribal councils.
I have a question, Thomas. This is the second time you've referenced Arthur, the PBS television program.
Yeah, I was talking about
in
DW.
an hour. Why? Why are you referencing them so much?
The DW thing was a thought from now, and at the time, I have witnesses present that can say that I said, "Why is he dressed like Arthur?" when they showed him.
I did not notice
And that was last week, so...
Oh, okay. Well, this week he was wearing a shirt that said feminist. So, that's pretty good. Jeff hypes up the interrogation and tells them to be tough but respectful. Now I just have some notes about what everybody talked about. What was your issue with this jury? I think they did a good job.
Yeah, my issue with it is that everyone came into this like, fuck Mike.
Well, maybe that's your interpretation, but I think Mike just did a bad job of explaining his game.
I think he did, but all of the questions were like, why are you a piece of shit? Tell me why you're such a piece of shit, Mike. And he was like, I don't think that I am. And they were like, well, why did you betray me then?
Yeah.
The thing that was insane about this is like Mike gets all of the blame for actually doing moves, whereas like Marianne, who voted with him on all of this shit, it's like, oh, no, that's fine. She's blameless.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, because Marianne is good. And Mike is actually the bad guy, because he lied to 3 different people about giving them his idol.
Okay, but like I think that was kind of dumb, but at the same time, like that invalidates his entire game.
Yes.
Like I think that's I feel like it's one of those things where people cherry picked like 2 or 3 things with him and ignored everything else that he brought to the table.
No.
Like that kind of stuff bothers me.
I think
because it allows somebody because like Marianne has played a very good social game. Marianne did not do shit in challenges at all, and like I do think that matters.
Okay, Jonathan fanboy over here.
Not even for Jonathan, I'm saying for Mike. Like, Mike played a pretty well-rounded game, and instead the jury was super bitter, and they fucking jumped on him.
I think they wanted to hear him admit that he didn't play as honorably as he acted as if he was. If he had just admitted that, I think more people would have been accepting of how he played, but he was like, no, I played the most honorable game I could. I'm an honorable man. Please respect my honor.
He did push that a little too hard. I think he probably should have been like, I did it as played as honorably as I could given the choices I was provided, but eventually like you got to make some hard decisions.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it is very like Marianne made. I think they both had winning cases to make, and Marianne did a better job of making that case. But I also think she was given a much better position to do it, where all of the heat was on Mike, and so there was no pressure on her whatsoever.
What did you think of Omer referencing Darwin and honeybees and cockroaches and the survival of the fittest? Did you think this was a good analogy?
No, I hate Darwinist shit. Fuck that.
But okay, so you hate Darwinism, but then why do you have that bumper sticker on your car that has a fish with little feet on it? And it says truth in the body.
I'm not saying that I hate that I don't believe in evolution. I'm saying though, like social Darwinism I think is fucking stupid. But
only the strong will survive.
But yeah, I do have one of the bumper stickers with the fish coming out of the sea that has like a big like no, you know, like the red circle with the line through it.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. Now I have to go to work every day.
He knows what he did.
Yes, that is shitty and not good. I don't have any bumper stickers because I ride a bicycle or public transit. That's right, I care about the earth. Thomas, racist and earth killer. That's what we've learned on Survivor 42.
Yeah, you know, we found a lot out about ourselves.
That's what Survivor's
I do
all
think,
about.
I think Marianne is a deserving winner. I just remember like a couple weeks ago when we were like, you know, Gabon, like, it's nice to see that this is like the opposite of that, you know? And it's like this jury was nowhere near that hostile, but like they're pretty fucking hostile. And a week ago when everybody was hugging after Drea got eliminated, I got to tell you, I did not expect this at all.
I agree. I did not expect that reaction to them either. I thought it would be much more full of love and like excited to explain everything or like learn, but yeah, Hai seemed very mad for somebody who, I don't know.
He was like that all season, though. Anytime he couldn't get his way through, he would get like super pissy. So I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah. Omer asks,
if you think that you should have been up there, even though you got eliminated, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm going to take you down a peg because I was actually a better player than you.
Yeah. Jeff asks them to focus on the social part of the game, and then Tori tells each of them her perception of each of them. Mike says he played an honorable game. We already talked about that. Marianne talks about how being not serious was a strategy because she noticed all these strategic young people getting voted out. And she pointed to a number of really good examples. You know, point in Marianne's favor. Romeo says he went from the boss to the employee. I mean, it's Survivor 42 Analogy Island. What do you expect?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you I don't believe Marianne, by the way. I think that Marianne, like, played a very astute social game, but I think this is very much branding, just the way that you act afterwards is like, oh, that was actually a strategy. I think a lot of this, most people that win tend to put, like, a post hoc narrative on stuff. And that's part of making your case, but it's like, there's so much less intentionality to everything that these people do than is argued at Final Tribal.
That's fair. Romeo says that he voted incorrectly intentionally. I think that is a great example of that.
Yeah, like, no, you didn't. Shut up.
Hai asks Romeo if he intentionally gaslit him. Your favorite word of the day.
I never want to see Hai on this show again. Don't do that shit. He lied to you. You're playing Survivor.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Are you dating? Are the two of you dating? And over the course of years? Like, come on.
There was actually a secret scene where Hai had won some, like, lamps, you know, that they could put gas in to, like, light the camp at night. And he would slowly... Romeo would slowly, like, turn it down every night, you know, to not use up so much of the gas. But Hai would be like, oh, are you turning it down? And Romeo would always say, no, I promise you, Hai, I'm not turning down the gas in the lamps. But they determined that was not worth airing on the actual show. But it would have taken,
the season would have been twice as long. So they were like, we're not going to put that in there.
But every week that Hi and Romeo were in the game together. There was the one secret scene all about the lamps. I found it compelling, but I also love the real world and the mundanity of that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not the target audience for Survivor.
Yeah, I did not need the fucking bullshit fake TikTok psychology in this. Like, if we get to a point where people are like, actually, so and so was being low key manipulative and was love bombing me all before the tribal council, it's like, shut the fuck up.
I've got a life.
You don't know
hack
what any
for
of
ya.
that means.
How about this? Make up a story for why you did so good in Survivor, even if it's accurate or not. I am looking up something I saw on a website today that I wanted to get your opinion on. It's on a website called Facebook.com. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay. So
What's that one again? Is that MySpace?
it's basically MySpace, but for like 50-year-olds.
Okay.
Which, I mean, MySpace is basically MySpace for 50-year-olds.
Yeah, how old's Thom now? Probably 50 years old.
Oh, Thom? Not Tom. Thomas, do you love being respected?
I love being respected.
Do you love kind people?
I also respect being loved, to be clear, but yes.
Do you love alternate universes?
I'm iffy on that one.
Okay. We'll give you half a point. Do you love politeness?
I don't know that I love politeness.
Yeah, half a point for that one. Do you love originality?
Sure.
Do you like spending money?
I love spending money.
Do you like attention?
I do and I don't. I have a weird relationship with that.
Oh, in between love and hate. I would say you like it. Do you like alone time to
In
recharge?
between love and hate, the Strokes song.
Exactly. Do you like alone time to recharge?
I do like alone time to
Do
recharge.
you like animals?
I love animals.
Do you like getting to know someone?
Sure, yeah.
Do you love... Excuse me. Do you hate boring people?
I think that's a... What is the criteria for that? I don't hate anybody.
No, it does not go into detail. It's a yes or no question.
No.
Okay. Do you hate being ignored?
I don't mind being ignored, to be honest.
Do you hate biased criticism? Like, say, for example, somebody who you know in real life said that you stink on your podcast review form.
I do hate bias. I didn't like that, so I will say I hate biased criticism.
Do you hate being interrupted?
I mean, I do it to other people, so I think, fair's fair. I probably deserve it.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. You're 10 out of 10, a Leo, according to this meme.
I think if anything that I answered would have given me 10 out of 10 for that.
How do you feel about knowing things before they happen?
What does that mean? I need more context.
How do you feel about... Okay, so you need more context. So you do
That
like
is
knowing
such a Leo
things.
thing to say.
Do you like comfort food? Or, excuse me, do you love comfort food or do you hate comfort food?
I like comfort food.
Do you like strong people, love
doesn't?
people, or hate strong people?
What?
Do you love strong people, hate strong people, or like strong people?
People have different strengths. What does that mean?
Do you like different historical eras, love different historical eras, or hate different historical eras?
I like different historical eras.
Do you love observing, hate observing, or like observing?
What the? Okay, come on. This is this doesn't mean anything.
Thomas, I'm trying to determine if you're a Pisces or not, and the fact that you had such a
like
negative
observing,
reaction to
okay?
this
I
tells
like
me
to
you're
watch.
not a Pisces. Do you hate learning if you're a certain zodiac signal or not? What is it called? Symbol?
Yes, I do hate that.
Yeah, well, you're a fucking Pisces then.
Oh, well, damn. Okay. I thought I was a Leo.
I'm a
but-
Pisces. I hate slow textures, mixed signals, people who complain all the time, lack of sympathy, and being lied to. I like being taken seriously, romance, feeling motivated naps, protecting those they love. And I love knowing things that happened before they happened, comfort food, strong people, different historical eras, and observing. That's right, I'm like Drea.
What? Okay, so what did... Just list all the Leo ones.
No,
now
I
that I'm
already
not
deleted.
being-
I already deleted the tab. We're not going through
Damn
it
it.
again. You said yes to like 90% of those.
Anyone would have said yes to those.
Not me. I hate being ignored.
Do you also hate boring people?
I hate boring people. How dare you
Isn't
try
that,
to?
I feel like that's the thing that Leos like. I feel like Leos all probably would hate boring people. I don't know.
If you want to hear more about this, you can subscribe to our Patreon show, California Crystals, which is Thomas being chill.
Do you know your sign last night?
Did you see your sign last night? And it can be that song that those Nazis did in the 90s.
Yeah, we're gonna brand it entirely around that song
Yeah.
with the lyrics that are good.
This is good, and we like it. Again, jokes are not endorsements. My God, these people, they're so woke these days, always writing into podcasts.
Yeah,
Let's call them woke casts.
we're being canceled. Yeah, maybe that's why our listener counts are so low because we're being canceled.
Yeah, unsubscribe. That's what people keep saying to me. That's all they, like, nobody uses our email except to send in unsubscribe, no subject line.
Yeah, stop sending us reviews that say L plus ratio.
Yeah, what the fuck does that even mean? You can't do that on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, they don't list a number. I guess it would be number of reviews, but yeah, it just doesn't translate well to that.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody will respond in a Twitter thread with just ratio in like an attempt to ratio somebody. And it's like, they have like 15 likes, whereas the one they're trying to ratio is like 15,000. It's like,
It's stupid. It's like it's played out as a concept. Like
Yeah.
we all know what it is. Just saying it now is stupid.
it's like saying first
you have
on
to
a
at least
YouTube
insult
video.
them. Just insult them. Think of something to insult them.
Yeah.
The people that just say ratio now are the people that also just post the like, "May I please steal your meme, sir?"
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Well, that's just
Reddit
polite,
behavior.
though.
Get that out of Twitter.
I mean, that's just polite, though. Like, let somebody know, hey, I'm stealing this meme. Elon Musk got in big trouble for stealing somebody's meme this week, and then he got ratioed. Okay.
yeah, this is Reddit. This is like I said. This is Reddit behavior.
So Mike gives a bad answer about how he never did anything to anyone who didn't deceive him first. It feels very, no, it's the children who are wrong, which is a bad answer at that final tribal council. You're not going to win any favors by saying you're the one that was wrong, Mike. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Omer asks Marianne about her social game, and she gives credit to Mike and Jonathan for helping her with the Omer vote. See, this is how you do it. You say, oh, look, it's not just me. All these other people helped me too. And they go, oh, humbleness, humility. You know, it takes a village. Jonathan asks Romeo what big moves he made, and he talks about making alliances with everyone. I don't know. I didn't buy it. Roxroy asks what skills they brought to the game. Marianne talks about palm reading and fish gutting. That's right. Marianne was the local psychic. Mike talks about his work ethic. We all know Mike. Romeo talks about he just learned how to swim and is afraid of heights. Dre asks what their best move was for them as an individual. Romeo talks about his fake immunity idol and winning Samotion. This wasn't a winning argument for me.
No.
Mike says...
No, well, I mean, like, what is Romeo supposed to say, though? Like, there's just nothing there,
Yeah.
like, and he knows it.
Yeah. Mike says he played both a strategic and an emotional game and admits to not playing with the integrity he claimed. Okay, so he did eventually come around and say that, but I think it was too little too late.
I think he genuinely didn't, like, realize it until halfway through Tribal. He was like, oh, yeah, I guess I wasn't quite as straightforward as I thought I was.
Yeah.
I think he was engaging honestly with people. It was just, it kind of lost track of it at a certain point.
Yeah. Marianne explains how she made sure that she would make it to the final three by voting out Omer, and then pulls out the idol that she never had to play. basically playing a hidden immunity idol at Final Tribal Council. Never been done before, but she figured out a way to do it. This is great. This is perfectly presented.
Yeah, it was pretty much, you could already tell which way it was going, but that was pretty much curtains for Mike at that point.
Well, they started playing hero music every time they showed her, like, as soon as the episode started. It was like, in case you hadn't figured it out yet.
It's not just because, like, I definitely came around on Marianne as, like, there was never a point where I thought that Marianne couldn't, like, actually play. I just find her kind of annoying, and I've come around, like, she's a very good player. She's played an excellent social game, totally deserving winner. I did not need this heavy-handed in edit for that to convey, you know?
Fair enough.
Like, it was right there on the screen, and she made a great case for herself at Tribal. You can get it all there. They went way overboard with the edit for her in these last couple episodes.
As they always do. They love to hit you over the head with it. Romeo talks about having to play from the bottom and not giving up, and then he gives a shout out to Hai for making him feel comfortable about being gay. Mike talks about boundaries. I don't know what else that meant. That's all I wrote in my notes. Mike talks about boundaries. I guess that's good.
It's a bummer that none of these questions were really. Marianne was able to show off what her, appeal and charms are, and Mike, who's super, was like one of the most likable characters we've had on a season, the last few seasons, just doesn't get to show any of his strengths at Final Tribal.
Yeah.
And, like, that's a lot of it is his social game that got him there. And, obviously Marianne's was stronger because the jury swung way towards her, but, regardless of whether that's fair or not, like, she way out executed him.
Yeah.
But, like, Mike didn't even get to talk about making fire. He had a big fire making moment. Nobody, he didn't even basically he was so on the defensive the whole time, he didn't even get to make an affirmative case for himself.
I mean, maybe he did and it just didn't make the edit. It just wasn't compelling in the story they were telling. That's what they're always trying to do now, is tell a story with Final Tribal.
It just kills me. The thing with that, though, is, like, the post-hoc stuff, overwhelming stuff that just happened is annoying to me. It's like people get their minds made up, where it's like Mike has a big emotional win. He finally gets a tribal council win to stay alive. He plays the idol for Marianne. He goes in, the Samotion thing obviously was not great, but he recovers from that by winning by making fire in a situation where he easily could have lost, and he won super convincingly. And it's like you have these big emotional highs, and then it's like as soon as he gets into Tribal, it's like, you lied to me, Mike. Fuck you. It's like everyone lied to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, he also just, he didn't really articulate what he did do at any point in the game
I think that he did a bad job with what he was given, but I don't think he was given very much because he got jumped on the minute he started his case, basically.
Yeah, and if he were a better public speaker, maybe he could have spun the jury, but...
what I'm saying is that Marianne did not get the same level of scrutiny. She was allowed to make a much cleaner case for herself. And she had a really good case to make.
Maybe she played a better game than Mike then.
I think that's possible, but I think that the way that this Tribal shook out was not representative of how strong a game each of them played, basically.
I think that's fair. I think that's definitely fair.
I think that this was a needlessly hostile jury, and I think it was part of the reason it felt that way to me is because I was expecting it to be like a very triumphant vibe. We've got two really likable players. Like, we're gonna come in, we're gonna say hi, like, congrats for coming. Like when Drea was hugging Mike and being like, I'm gonna visit you and that kind of thing, where it's like, where the fuck was that in Final Tribal? Everyone was just like, fuck Mike, fuck Mike.
It was weird that they left that chant in uncensored.
Yeah. Like, Mike, you could tell Mike was shell-shocked. Like, he was a good sport about losing, but, like, he did not expect that at all. It was like, he was like fucking Joe Pesci at the end of Goodfellas, where it's like you think you're going into Final Tribal thinking you're getting made and you get shot in the back of the head.
Okay, well, spoilers. I actually haven't seen Goodfellas. I did, though, start The Godfather on Premium Plus. What's it called? Paramount Plus the other day. I got
Oh, are you watching the stupid show about The Godfather, or you're watching The Godfather?
No, I'm just watching The Godfather because I've never seen it all the way through. I keep falling asleep. It's 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's a long movie. That makes sense for you.
But no, I've just never seen it all the way through. And I started it and I was like, oh, I definitely haven't seen this movie. I thought I had seen this movie, but does not seem familiar to me.
You have an idea of the movie.
Yeah, somebody makes somebody an offer they can't refuse, and then Rob Mariano went on Survivor. Like, what more do I need to know? Oh, and then he married Amber. Okay. And then Marianne had a crush on Zach. Okay. We know the history of the show. Oh, speaking of our Rivals podcast, Jonathan was on it doing his exit interview, and he referenced Cool Hand Luke when they asked him about all the eggs.
Oh, talking about eating eggs?
I thought it was very funny.
I bet Jonathan could do that. I bet he wouldn't die like people. Do you know that people have died trying to do that? Trying to eat all the hard-boiled eggs?
That's fucked up.
Jonathan wouldn't die,
No,
though.
Jonathan will never die. Mike gets Jonathan's vote, but Marianne gets the rest of them. I think Marianne just put on a absolutely phenomenal Final Travel Council performance. Like,
Yep, she did.
she did not
think
miss
that,
once.
Yeah, me being annoyed is not the fact that I think that if they had both been given a chance to make like an affirmative case for themselves, I think she probably still would have won. I just didn't like Mike getting ambushed like that. I don't know. I thought it just felt like maybe there's stuff we didn't see where he rubbed people the wrong way, but it's like when you edit the show like that and it comes out that way, like it feels weird. Like the vibes were fucked up. I didn't like it.
Final review of Survivor 42, the vibes were fucked up.
This was like a fun season where everybody seemed to like each other, and then it's just a weird note to end on.
Yeah, that's fair. What did you think of the season overall?
I just thought it was good. The finale was, I mean, not just because of the people I predicted didn't win, but the finale was kind of a letdown to me, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it had a big head of steam coming into it, and I just thought, I don't know, it wasn't doing it for me. It was still good. I think it was a good season overall. This wasn't anywhere near as bad as like Edge of Extinction or anything like that, but
Or perhaps Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers?
yeah, that's probably the worst ending
Yeah.
of any of the shows.
Speaking of which, we can't wait to announce what we're doing next week for the first week of the off season. Final thing we need to do before points is deem somebody not annoying. Who was not annoying in this final episode, Thomas? Who's the most not annoying person? I guess least annoying is the way to say that.
I would say, considering Marianne won and basically flawlessly executed her, the final phase of the game, I would say Marianne was probably the least annoying.
I 100% agree. We already deemed Jonathan annoying.
Lindsay not annoying. Hi, very annoying. Hi, most
quite
annoying this week.
Yes. God, he kept saying gaslight so many times.
He said it the one time, but it was still stupid. It was a stupid thing to say.
He said it multiple times, Thomas. Go back and watch it. I'm not gaslighting you about this.
Oh, damn. Okay.
All right, so you
wouldn't lie to me about that.
I would not lie to you, nor would I gaslight you. We had gone into this week with 35 points for you and 37 points for me.
I close that gap, baby. Woo! Come from behind.
You said Lindsay would win the reward. She did not. I said Mike would win the reward. He, in fact, did. You said eggs. I said shower. No. You said Lindsay would win immunity. I said Jonathan. No. You said fifth place would go to Jonathan. I said Romeo. Both no. You said Marianne would take fourth. I said Lindsay. Both no. You said Romeo would take third. I said Jonathan. So you got a point for that. We both said Mike would take second, so we both got a point for that. And I said Marianne would win. So I am ending this season with 40 points to your 37.
I actually did better than I thought I did at the end there. I didn't think I got like any points.
You did. Yeah, you got a couple. I mean, not enough, But, good job. So
my final verdict on this season is I didn't win, so it's disappointing.
yeah, That's the case after every season. So next week, we are taking a break from doing Survivor watch-alongs. But then the next week, we're coming back with Guatemala, which is going to be very exciting. In the interim, we are doing Survivor You versus All versus Everybody 2. As you might recall, an episode we did a while back was called You versus All versus Everybody, in which we cast the cast of Lost on a season of Survivor, split them up by red collar, white collar, blue collar, whatever the fucking collars were, and did a whole season. Do I remember who won? I don't, but it's really more about the journey than to the destination. So we're going to do it again, but this time there's a twist. Instead of Lost People, in honor of Survivor 42, we're doing Lost People and also people from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Holy shit. So tune in next week for that. It's going to be really fun, and I can't wait. Thomas,
I can't wait either.
What is your Twitter.com handle?
We're not gonna thank the listeners?
We will. We just haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna take this opportunity to thank the listeners.
Okay.
And you can follow me at Tom Not Tom.
That's great. It's with an H at the first one. I don't know if anybody ever knew that, but that's the way it's spelled. I will say the show is on Twitter at DYWSLN, or on Instagram at The Only Survivor Podcast. We have a few shows on Patreon, which can be found at patreon.com/justpodcasts. I have a proposition for you for a new show, Thomas. Tell me what you think of this. Here's the title. You know the title of the main show, DYWSLN. What about this? DYWSNL.
Oh, I love it.
Did you watch Saturday Night Live? And we go through every week and watch an episode of SNL, but like in chronological order. So we start with the George Carlin first episode. What do you think?
Man, I would take the money, but like, man, I really hope no one gets, I really, really hope no one pays for this one. There are so many other shows you could pay for that I would rather do than this.
Shout one of those out. I mean, we do already have a couple,
I would rather do,
talk about.
did you know your sign last night or whatever?
Oh, did you watch your sign last night? Go through the sky and send you good dreams or whatever Zodiac is about. Is that what the movie Zodiac is about? Dream catchers?
That's what the movie Zodiac's about. The movie Zodiac is about him trying to figure out what his sign is.
How do you know? He's just texting his mom incessantly.
His wife, like, you have to stop doing this.
He's texting his mom incessantly. What time was I born? It's apparently very important. But the secret is his mom died a long time ago, and that's the mystery he has to solve to find out what time he was born. Oh, can you just call the hospital? No, it's not allowed. You can't just call a hospital.
That hospital all the records were destroyed in a fire.
Yeah, and the hospital burned down. And that's how his mom died. So now don't you feel like an asshole?
Yeah. He's not going to be able to make this relationship work unless he knows what his sign is.
They're on the precipice of divorce unless he finds out if he's a Leo or a Pisces. Leo and Pisces are basically opposites, wouldn't you say?
We're going to have to do the show for me to know that. I don't know.
You can tune into Did You Watch The Sign last night? I don't know. We'll come up with a good title for it by next week.
Yeah, we'll do better.
How many signs are there? 13? 12? Something like that?
How many aren't there? You know?
Oh, man. Think about that. What if people wanted to review us on Apple Podcasts? What would they write there?
Well, 5 stars, first of all,
Absolutely.
and they would say, this is my favorite podcast. I like it better than all of the other podcasts. I give it a big thumbs up. And if you are reviewing us on Spotify, you at the end will just say, I look forward to seeing this in my Spotify
I
Wrapped.
love that. I always love to hear that. Let's see. Has anybody reviewed us on Apple Podcasts? No. The last one still says that we stink, which is, of course, factually incorrect. And then over on Spotify, it's no rating still. So you can be the first Spotify listener to review us. And wouldn't that be exciting? That'd be nice if somebody did that.
It'd be very exciting. And then you could look forward to seeing us in your Spotify Wrapped.
Yes. Okay, well, next week we're doing Survivor You versus All versus Everybody 2. You can tune in for that. Until then, have a great summer. 90 fucking degrees now.
Deuces.
40 deuces.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
shit,
hot.
you haven't been saying 40
I wish
deuces
that my
this
air
whole
conditioner
time.
was on.
Thomas, you gotta say 40 deuces one last time.
40 deuces.
Have a great summer.
40 deuces.
There we go.
So long and thanks for all the fish. So sad that it should come to this. We tried to warn you all, but oh dear. You may not share our intellect, which might explain your
I
disrespect.
love the feature in the iPhone that allows you to just swipe over and open the camera now that I'm like around children, like toddlers a lot more, because they don't understand what they're doing and you get some of the greatest selfies. They're so much fun every time. I'm way into kids now. I don't know if you heard. I love children.
Getting really into kids.
You know, just like kids say the darndest things, you know?
Yeah, starting small. I'm just gonna go to this playground. Mm-hmm. I keep getting chased off, but they're gatekeeping these kids by not letting me watch them.
They're gaslighting me into not letting me see these kids.
It's like everybody says that they want you as a part of the parent community, but when you try and learn anything, they just push you away. They try and like big time you about how they have kids and you don't, and you're not allowed to be outside the playground.
Maybe I want to rent it before I buy it, you know? Like you rent a movie before you buy it for your home collection.
Yeah. Can I rent your kid for 5 days?
Before I put it in my home collection?
My kid's in the shop. I got a loaner kid for the weekend.
Yeah, kids are cool. Kids are cool.
Kids
and
are
you
cool.
can't say anything negative about them because that's
They're
illegal.
cooler than us. They know all the new stuff. We're old. We're dinosaurs. We don't know any of the new stuff.
Yeah. What's your favorite dinosaur? Ready, go. Lightning round.
I like Ankylosaurus. I like a good tank dinosaur.
Mine's Littlefoot.
Smarten up, Probst.